Hey there! In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn this individual letter set into this, a typeable font. I'll be using Adobe Illustrator and an extension called Font Self Maker. So let me show you how. First off, you want your letters to be an SVG file. If you have saved your pattern font as a PNG file, you're going to need to convert it before you can get started making the font. Let me show you how to convert a PNG file into an SVG file real quick. So this one I have imported, and you can see it doesn't have any outlines, just has the outline around the box, and that is because it is a PNG file. Now this one over here, you can see if I drag it over, each individual letter has an outline around it, and showing that is an SVG file. So that's our ultimate goal there. So to convert this PNG letter into an SVG, we're going to click on the letter, go to Window, and then Image Trace. Now, if your options are not highlighted, you may have to click off the letter and then click back on to get your options. And then once you have your options highlighted, you're going to select Color. And I leave everything else at the default and select Trace. And that is going to trace my image and turn it from a PNG file into a vector file that we can use to make the fonts. Now, the reason you want your font to be a vector file is because a photo type file, when you expand it, you're going to have some distortion. It's going to get pixelated. It's just not going to look good. It's going to be a large file. It may crash people's computers if you end up saving this as a font, and you do not want that. You want your image to be crisp and clean and easy to use. Okay, so back to tracing the image. It's finished tracing, so I'm going to click on the image and then go to Object and Expand. Make sure Object and Fill are both checkmarked and click OK. And then now you can see everything is still one piece, so we need to ungroup this. And you can just click Ungroup and just keep clicking it until it doesn't give you the option to click Ungroup anymore and it says Group. Now click off of it and then you click back on and you'll see the pieces can be separated. So I'm just going to delete the white pieces to make font, because you don't want the white pieces in there. When you have your font finished, you want that to be transparent. Okay, and then you're going to highlight everything and select Group. And then now you have it's all together, but it's a vector file and it's not an image file. And if I was really doing this as my font file, I would go in and make sure I got all of that cleaned up, but I'm just trying to show you just the basics of how to trace your image and get it ready to become a font. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go back to the letters I have here. Now, you want to make sure if you have a lot of pieces in your letters that you have everything grouped together. And one other thing to check here is how many points your image has. Let me zoom in. You'll see I have quite a few little hearts, but this really isn't that busy of a pattern. So I can tell by looking at it that it will work fine as a font. But if you have a lot of little tiny details in here, you want to check and make sure that you don't have over 1,000 points in each letter, because it will not save if you have more than 1,000 points. So to check the points, you click on your letter and then go to Object, and then I go to Path and Simplify. And right here it will pull up, this one has 157 points. And if it had more than you want it, you can adjust it. Like, you get rid of some of the point. You can slide it and adjust it, but it will also distort your image the more points you take away. So these are fine. We don't have to worry about having too many points on that. So now I'm just going to zoom out so we can see all of the letters. Okay, Now we're going to turn this into a font. If you've brought your letters in one by one and you notice they're not straight, you can highlight all your letters and go to Align and just click on this vertical line bottom, and then that will straighten them all up, and that just makes it a little easier when you pull it into the extension. Okay, so now we're going to open the extension and we're going to go to Font Self Maker and click on that, and that is going to open this window right here. If you don't see this, just click on New and it will open this box. Then you're going to highlight all your letters and just drag them over. And all of these are uppercase, so I would select uppercase alphabet. If it was a lowercase alphabet, I would select that. Or if I had made numbers, I would select that one. Or if you had uppercase, lowercase, letters, punctuation, like everything, then you would select any character. But I'm just going to drag over to uppercase alphabet, and your letters do have to be in a straight line or it will not work. They will get all jumbled up and it is a mess. So now what you want to do when your letters get pulled over into the Font Self Maker, you just want to look and make sure each letter corresponds with the letter that is written below it. And if like something's up here, you can drag it down. So you'll go through and make sure each letter lines up. Looks like all of mine do. You're also looking to make sure that each letter is right in the middle of the little box here. You can see the dash lines and then the baseline. You want to make sure all your letters are sitting on that baseline. Or when you type, you'll have bouncy letters, unless that's what you're going for. If you're going for bouncy letters, then you can scoot them up and have some down, but most likely you want them all to be straight when you type. So then we're just going to click on Save and give your font a name. This is going to be Cute Heart Font. That's what I'm going to. You can name it whatever you want right here, and then click OK. Heart Font, and this is going to save it. You can pick where you want to save it and click Save. And then now you can either open the save font or open the folder, or you can manually go to the folder. I'm just going to open the save font, and then I am going to click on Install, and that's going to install the font. And then I'll click off of that. I can close the Font Self Maker, and now I can come over here and type in Cute Heart Font, and there it is. I can click on that, click on my text tool, and now I can type. And there you go. And now you have an OTF font that you can sell in your shop, or you can just use it to type whatever you want to make your life a little bit easier. And if you start out by creating your patterns in Illustrator, it will make it a lot easier. You will skip the whole step of having to trace the font, and it will literally take you about 5 seconds to make fonts from your alpha sets. Alrighty, well, I hope that was helpful, and I hope that explains how to make a OTF font using Illustrator.